Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SE Talk. Ich habe es nach 3 Jahren PDAC, also 3 Jahren Abstinenz eigentlich, wieder zur PDAC geschafft. Und es hat sich einiges geändert. Die Leute sind nach wie vor da, es ist viel los. Und ich habe jetzt auch die erste wirklich interessante Company da. Ich habe die das erste Mal getroffen im November letzten Jahres. In Frankfurt, glaube ich, war das auf der Goldmesse. Und mich hat es wahnsinnig beeindruckt, weil die haben bereits 4 Millionen Unzen definiert. Und 4 Millionen Unzen ist schon ein ganz schönes Brocken. Also, und sie machen das mit einer extrem effizienten Art und Weise. Und deswegen habe ich gedacht, wenn die da sind, probiere ich einfach ein Interview. Tara, thank you for your time. I said in my German introduction, we met us the first time in Frankfurt, I think, last November, and the company impressed me very much. You do a really great job. You coming up with 4 million ounces. You do it a really efficient way. You are working really cost efficient, and it's the reason why I take the opportunity to make this video, that my people, my subscriber, can also have an idea what you're doing. So, but in the beginning, please give us a rough overview where you are. For sure you're doing in gold and 4 million ounces, I said in the German introduction. But in which region you are, how it comes that you're coming up so efficient with this, also with the 4 million?
Sure. You know, Banyan is located in the Yukon. We're right beside the 2 operating mines, Victoria Gold's Eagle, which is a heap leach mine, and Hecla's high-grade silver. We have that 4 million ounces, which is right on surface. Powerline, which is where we have 3 million ounces, strip ratio of 0.34 to 1. So very low strip ratio. That's another important thing. Grade's important, but strip ratio is important. And also critically important is infrastructure. We already have existing roads, all year maintained roads across the property, a main highway, a power line that was just reconstructed in January of 2021 that's brand new. It has capacity for another mine, and it's right across the property, and it's only 50 kilometers from the hydroelectric dam, so green power and carbon footprint's a really big issue for the larger miners these days. We even have cell phone service and fiber optic cable that goes out to Victoria Gold's mine across our property. Those are huge advantages for our projects. It's very difficult for things in remote areas to get permitted and built, and the capital costs are so much higher. So here we've got this growing deposit. Yes, we have 4 million ounces, but that was before we drilled the 50,000 meters, which we drilled last year. So our shareholders can expect a resource update here by mid-year. We just put out all of our results last week, and more consistent results with similar grades, some higher grades, even up to 1.8 grams over 30 meters in our results. But what's really significant is the scale of the gold mineralization and the property. So, just for context, power line, if you go east-west, it's 1.2 kilometers and roughly 900 meters north-south for the resource. We've now drilled mineralization, not completely filled it out so it will become an inferred resource, but we drilled 2 kilometers from Oryx Hill, which gives us 5 kilometers of strike length. That shows just how large. That won't all be going to the resource because we only put the 50,000 meters in, but this system is very, very big. And remember, we're still in the country rocks that the mineralization leaked out into. We haven't found our intrusion yet. So, that's really what's exciting, is we now have so much information from, the geochemistry, the structure that we now know, the geophysics, that we're beginning to really put the story together and understand, one, where our higher grade potential areas are, one, where the structural areas are that we need to drill and test, because that's where you can find some of that really higher grade. And where's that intrusive? The search for the elusive intrusive is on, because Snowline found their intrusive. That's their high grade. Victoria Gold's mining their intrusive. So where's ours? It can't be that far away. Generally, these deposit, it's not further than 5 kilometers away. So we've already started our drill season. We're planning 25,000 meters. We've had first couple holes drilled already this year, so we're off to a great start. We've got a prep lab right on site now, which is really going to reduce our times and help our targeting. My team is super stoked, and we've started off the season, and PDAC, is just more of that fueling that with the ideas that we're getting from other people and recognition for what we've done and what we're continuing to do. So I'm pretty excited, as you can tell.
It shows that. You everybody can see the enthusiastic that you really?
I got a great team. And what we now know is so exciting.
Yeah, so that means that you don't know where the boundaries of the project is.
We haven't found any edges yet, no. And we aren't even bothering to go to depth right now because in the starting days, probably 200 meters is an economic pit. So yes, the mineralization goes to depth, and we'll probably drill some deep holes at some point, but we want them to really be in the right area. That's 5 kilometers by 2 kilometers. That's huge already, but no edges either. It's continuing to the east and the west. We aren't rushing off to the west because we see there's thick overburden, which causes drilling problems. Okay. So to the east, very little overburden on top of it, higher grade. We see these 2 new trends, one kind of to the north and one to the south, that are now very apparent through the deposit. They're telling us something about how this mineralization formed. And this is only less than 5% of the whole property. We have 173 square kilometers there. We've really only focused on a small area with drilling and soil sampling. We've maybe done about a third of the property, so it's there's lots of exploration potential.
We can talk about this is really a huge project.
It's huge, and it's part of a district. I think that's the other exciting part of the story. We're seeing Victoria Gold with their high grade, and it's just across the valley. I can see the lights of their drills. It's quite frankly, it's closer for them to build a road over to our site than it is to take it back to their heap leach mine. And it's high grade, right? 1.7 grams, and some of the results they had 2 and 4 grams over there. So high grade exists in this area. We just haven't found it yet in large amounts. We found, some layers that have higher grade. But, with what Snowline's finding, Victoria Gold, us, Sitka, this is Canada's newest mining district, and I think Victoria Gold will produce for 20 years plus with what they have alone. But I think people's eyes are starting to see us as a district, and the huge advantage we have is we've got location. If you're going to put a mill in this area, where would it be? Well, it should be in the place that has green power, lots of moderate topography. So I think that's going to also drive attention for us. And yes, this could be a heap leach project, but some mining companies would probably put in more capital to get a mill and get 95% recovery versus a heap leach like Victoria Gold. And I'm just going to use theirs because we don't know what ours is yet. We've been growing it so quickly, we haven't quite been able to keep up with the metallurgy. As we know, the project changes the geochemistry across the 5 kilometers, so we need to actually test it before we can put out results. So yes, we know that this is an exciting project as a heap leach project potentially, but Australian companies, other companies, they prefer mills and they prefer the higher recovery. So we're doing a really broad metallurgical program. We've hired Brad Thrall, who was with Alexco right next door. He built Brewery Creek. He's been with Barrick, has a wealth of experience in metallurgy, permitting, and a lot of the technical work, like the mining economics and how to structure. He's built mines, so great addition to our team, which, we're starting to turn our minds. Yes, we're still doing exploration, but with that development in our mind, what do we need to do to really position this project? Baseline environmental work, that's also super important. We're increasing that this year as well.
So, but in general, I can say that you are not planning to bring this into production. You normally, as an exploration company, you do it to bring it to a certain stage, make it nice and beautiful and blue sky potential, and then normally a bigger company comes in.
So
then, especially with these numbers what you're coming up, it's mean when somebody will build a mill or also something that's cost a lot. And that is for an exploration company.
So very few companies actually. Victoria Gold is one of the few that actually took it all the way through exploration, through feasibility, permitting, build it and operate it. That's very rare. I'm not a mine builder, so and I think that's a pretty low probability. I say that Banyan building this is probably a 5%. We're not. It's not totally off the table because you want all your options. So if that happens, I'm already building the team with development people, and as we go, we'll continue to add them. And
I
if
think
it gets
this is
to
important.
there,
Then
I'd replace.
You need this data that you can show the other ones. They may be interesting. That you have the right, you've done the right things, and they know exactly more about the project, how it's really going to go.
And in that scenario, that's important to know when it's time to pass the baton, and you hire your replacement that has the skill sets to actually build it. I have no problem. I'm a 4% shareholder, so I care, and I bought that in the market, so I care if if I'm going to pass the baton to somebody that they're actually going to add value. So, but I think that's a pretty small likelihood. We've always said that we're positioning that it could be a standalone project, which we are doing, and that's why we're doing such a big, robust program. Everything from gravity to heap leach to mill to CIL, everything. We need to know all the answers. So whatever company looks at it, or if it's a standalone, what the best options are. So I think that's a second, somebody buying it as that. Another potential option is, obviously, I have two mines beside me. Victoria Gold is already a shareholder. Hecla has just signaled that they're buying gold projects with their offer for attack. So clearly this is a cornerstone for them into the Yukon. So two acquirers, being acquired by one or other of them is another option. And then, I do think there's people that are looking at this as a district, and, that could be the next consolidation. And that's how Red Lake started. You start with one mine, Victoria Gold's the leader, and then you continue to make discoveries in the head frame, and pretty soon you have a very long-lived district. I believe that's what this is, and so we've got to position ourselves for that. So that's the other alternative. Somebody comes in, buys us and Victoria, maybe even Hecla, who knows. And mining's an exciting business.
It's always good when you have more opportunities.
All options,
Preserve
your options, because that's how you get the most value. And then I'm here at PDAC and was at BMO last week talking to all the mining companies. So they're like, hey, did you guys notice what we've been doing? We're in a Tier 1 jurisdiction where you can permit a mine with a First Nation that knows mining in a brownfields with existing infrastructure. Hey guys, are you paying attention? Because that's also how you make sure that you have competitors when the time comes. We're not in a rush, because I think we can add a lot of value. We have a real clear to value creation this year.
That brings me to the evaluation point. So how many shares are outstanding? And you said you have 4% and you buy it into the market, so it's really unusual. So how many shares are outstanding? What is the market cap around, and how much cash you have?
Yeah, so we have about 280 million shares outstanding, roughly. We're about 120 million market cap. We started this year with 19 million, so when we've started drilling, so we're just over 18, about 18.3 million in the bank today, which is a lot of money for us. 12 million of that is hard dollars, so that could sustain our G&A for 3 years. We've budgeted to spend $10 million this year on our metallurgy, the 25,000 meters of drilling, and then you can always choose to spend more money if you get some love in the market. But we want to make sure we have a healthy program for 2024, so we're being some conservative in this market. People thought January was going to be gangbusters for gold, but my job's to protect my shareholders' value and the treasury, so we're doing that, and it allows us to do really meaningful work to add value, keep my team, and continue to advance this project, but also give us a little time to see what the market does.
No, I think I love the idea. You don't have really pressure, you don't need really money, so you can do your work, and with them you create news, and with the news hopefully the share price going up, and hopefully we will see a higher gold price. This would be help.
Would be fabulous. If not, we're patient. We've come this far. We're not going to blow up the treasury too quickly before we see. If we've got to get through 2024, and that's when the real value comes, great, and people start paying attention. There are just so few big projects that have over 6 million ounces with infrastructure and permitting. It's pretty rare.
You say in the beginning a very interesting point. I see this also what's changing in the last 3 years. My last PDAC was 2020, then it was done about the pandemic. You say a lot of green is coming into the business. So everybody looking on the carbon footprint and so on. You said you have a lot of advantages for that. So that's really interesting.
I think it's a huge advantage for us, particularly even talking to some of the mining companies. I had a couple people talk to me about projects which will never go ahead, not because the mineral's not there or the metal, but because the carbon footprint is too high and it would be too negative for the big company to take it on. So that's, I think, a really important consideration.
Tara, thank you for the first introduction to your company. Hopefully we have time that we can do it in a few months. Then we see more what you're coming up with drill results from this campaign and so on. And good luck.
Thank you.
I like the story. It's really, really very impressive what you do.
Thank you. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it.
Ja, das war die erste Vorstellung von Banyan Gold. Die haben wirklich, es habt ihr selber gefühlt, sie ist extrem überzeugend und sie liebt dieses Projekt quasi und man merkt den Enthusiasmus, den sie auch hat. Und ich glaube, mehr braucht man da auch nicht wirklich sagen. Was wirklich allerdings für mich neu ist, sie haben halt jetzt einen Distrikt, der 5 Kilometer geht, also 5 Kilometer weit entfernt schon was gefunden haben. Das können jetzt noch nicht in die Ressourcen eingebaut werden, weil es noch zu wenig gebohrt ist. Sie bohren jetzt 25.000 Meter. Und das schaut dann schon ganz anders aus und sie suchen noch immer die Zone, woher das Ganze kommt. Das heißt, wo ist eigentlich diese Feederzone, wo ist eigentlich diese Intrusion, woher kommt dieses Gold? Und das hat man bis jetzt noch nicht gefunden. Trotzdem sind wir schon bei 4 Millionen Unzen. Und wenn die das erweitern können, dann braucht nur jeder ein bisschen was zusammenzählen können, dann weiß man, wo wir da hinkommen. Und das ist ein ganzer Distrikt. Es sind die Stromleitungen sind da, Wasserdamm ist da, das heißt, der Carbon Footprint ist sehr gering. Und wir haben zum Schluss auch geredet, dieser Carbon Fußabdruck, dieser wird immer wichtiger. Das heißt, man braucht Projekte, die auch niedrige Carbon-Emissionen haben, denn sonst wird es extrem schwierig, dass auch andere herkommen und das übernehmen. Und sie haben genug Geld am Konto, über 18 Millionen noch. Das heißt, für dieses Jahr ist das Programm überhaupt kein Problem. Nächstes Jahr eigentlich auch noch nicht. Und sie können damit super über die Runden kommen. Wenn der Markt natürlich irgendwo explodieren sollte, dann werden sie natürlich wieder eine Kapitalerhöhung machen. Ist logisch, das ist im Business drinnen. Aber jetzt schaut es nicht so aus. Also schaut euch die Firma wirklich an. Ich habe selber noch nicht gekauft. Ich warte eigentlich immer nur bis auf, wo der Trigger ist, wo ich dann wirklich investiere. Aber ich finde die Company echt spannend. Das war's von der PDAC 2023 von Banyan Gold. Tschüss und Baba. Für euch. Thank you.
Thank you.